If you've been out there searching, then you probably know the feeling. You've seen every story shape itself 1,000 ways. Years of playing games, watching films, reading books. You start to wonder if there's anything left that can still move you. Something that can reach past the surface and touch whatever's left inside, wanting to feel like a child again. That longing, it's almost euphoric to keep wandering through stories, characters, and themes, hoping one of them might finally pull you in. And lately, I have been adrift as a gamer. Every new game starts strong, but eventually feels like a memory I already lived. Been there, done that, just going through the motions. Death Stranding 2, for instance, feels like a déjà vu. The plot moves, but without urgency. Donkey Kong Bonanza is fun, but maybe I have outgrown that kind of laughter. Not the biggest fan of platformers, I suppose. Artonelica 2 had promise, but between the filler lines and the broken fan translation, I felt myself slipping out of its world. As time goes on, nothing seems to hold anymore. Doesn't have the gravity it used to, so I zone out. But then one night I thought, let me set up that PS1 emulator, the perfect works build Nishquick talked about. Let's finally give Xenogears another shot. And that's what I did. See, I'd played this game 6 years ago, but back then I wasn't ready. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even now, I don't think I am. Having rolled the credits literally last night because I still can't wrap my head around how something like this was even made. How something this dense, this real could come out of 1998. Because back then the games were focused, narrow in scope, built around one idea, one feeling. But Xenogears, it feels like it already asked 20 questions halfway through, and somehow dared to answer every single one of them, with a spectrum of emotions yet to come. Questions like, who am I? How do I relate? What is the other? Questions about why we live, what's worth it, and what's more true. Among games chasing simple thrills and tidy emotions, this one looked straight into the void and asked, what's the point of it all? A question so many games avoid because to ask it is to risk breaking the illusion of their frankly cookie-cutter stories. To realize how your hero's struggles are childish, how your villains are hollow, chasing after all the wrong things. The final message is summarized in the power of friendship. Kill God and the curtains fall. See, when the credits roll, I forget about your story. Because when you ask the right questions, you risk shattering the mirror. So they don't. BioWare, Ubisoft, Sega, even Falcom. If you look at their works, they feel stagnant, themes repetitive, dialogues lacking in tension and artificial. But not Xenogears. While not perfect, Xenogears forces its protagonist Faye, and by extension you, to look into that mirror and ask, can humanity reach the divine without shattering its own reflection? This game isn't about saving the world, not about some villain's motivation or cosmic war. At first, it feels that way. The starter town, the reluctant hero, the journey towards a better world, but slowly you realize Xenogears is about trying to understand why the world needs saving in the first place. Because of the inner world, the self, fragmented and wounded, and how terrifying it is to make it whole. There is a shadow, as Sigmund Freud says, raw emotion, unfiltered rage, the part of us that feels everything, but too strongly. The fire that's willing to burn away the numbness just to feel the warmth again. And then there's the conscience, the part that sometimes hides, dissociates, folds itself inward, the one that fears love, because love means vulnerability in a world that doesn't care. And between those two opposing forces stands you, the fragile balance, the mask we wear to stay functional, your ego. These forces move within all of us. We all know what it's like to bury pain so deep it grows a name. We all know what it's like to avoid the parts of ourselves we don't like and can't control. Xenogears just externalizes that inner struggle, makes it tangible, and when you see that reflected back at you, it's unsettling. You realize the enemy you're facing isn't something you can defeat, not some villain out there in the world. It's you, something you're expected to love and accept at the same time. In Jungian psychology, the anima represents the feminine within the man, the intuitive, emotional, and spiritual. The animus is the masculine within the woman, the rational, assertive, physical, the yin and the yang. Yet Xenogears doesn't treat them as antagonistic. They are two halves of the same heartbeat, machines and souls, science and religion, flesh and spirit. Xenogears basically says this: if this is like two angels with one wing each, then you have to hold hands to fly, right? Because you're dependent on one another. God could have created humans perfectly, but then humans wouldn't have helped each other. And maybe that's the point, that the space between anima and animus is the path towards something greater. Nature, God, or the universe, whatever you choose to call it. Every time that you suppress the self to stay in control, we're letting go of that hand. Maybe you shouldn't feel in control all the time, but surrender to others, to something greater than yourself. Am I seeing the truth, or only my reflection dressed as divinity? Now, even if you are the most secular atheist, you have to realize that we all keep reaching for God, not realizing that the divine isn't up there, but buried inside the broken pieces of ourselves. If I look at Chrono Trigger as the perfect JRPG that can appeal to many different tastes and biases, this game is like the closest thing to perfect for my tastes and biases. And to that end, I will explore Xenogears in depth next week, scene by scene, in full literary breakdown, starting from the beginning. Now, if you haven't played Xenogears, this is your justification. Play the game, roll the credits, subscribe to the channel, and hold my hand on this unforgettable descent into one of gaming's most profound works of art. Now, if you have played it, I hope you're excited for what's to come. Tell me your thoughts on Xenogears without spoilers in the comments below. After all, I need 2 wings to fly as well.